Hey everybody, gonna wait a little bit, let some more people join in. I want to go ahead and start with my disclaimer that I need to use, that the content of this presentation, including any kind of information that you get, is offered on an informational basis only. It's not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. You should always seek the advice and guidance of a qualified health provider before you make any adjustments to medication or treatment or protocol you are currently using. Don't stop any medication without consulting them, starting any new medication or treatment or protocol, whether or not it was discussed in this presentation or course. And information here is generally informational and not as specifically applicable to any individual's health or medical problems, concerns, and or needs. If you think you have a medical emergency, call your doctor immediately or go to the ER if it is very dire. If you use any of this information here, you do so at your own risk. Some of the ideas that we talk about may be considered experimental. Okay, so I want to start with a couple questions that were given to me, and the first question was about LDI and Lyme disease. For those of you who don't know me, I live with chronic Lyme, and I have since my diagnosis in 2010. And since then, I became a master herbalist, did a lot of research, and try to help out as many people as possible. And I want to talk to you a little bit about LDI. And this is low dose immunotherapy. And the idea behind LDI is that when Lyme becomes chronic, it is considered, rather than an infection, it is considered an autoimmune disease. And you want to get your body to start balancing that out. So they do these shots, and it's supposed to stop that autoimmune response of your body attacking itself. So you start with different dosages, and you kind of have to play around with that sometimes. So you start with a lower intensity dosage, and you work up, and you do this about every 8 weeks. And they suggest that you do this, I believe it's for 2 years. I could be wrong on that. I've done it myself for about a year. So I have done 5 LDI shots. My 6th one will be in December, and then after that I'm going to stop because I think I'm done with that. I'm doing so much better, I don't think I need to use it anymore. But there are a lot of other reasons why I have gotten better. It's not just LDI. So anyways, when they have the doses right, you don't feel a lot of reaction. And when they have it too high, you'll have what they call a Herxheimer reaction, or a Herx, and you'll feel bad. Usually that'll go away after maybe 2 days or so. If you have a little bit of reaction, they actually my doctor's office likes that because they think that it's doing something, and they like to have that little bit of a reaction to know that it's doing something. For me, my reaction has eliminated. I don't have any kind of reaction anymore, so that's why we're going to be stopping them in December. All right, the other question I got was about doing a sugar detox. And the question was, what do you eliminate in a sugar detox? Which is kind of, it's kind of a hard question, honestly, because when you try to do a sugar detox, obviously you're going to get rid of all your sugar items, but there's so many things, even the good things, that have sugar in them, because vegetables have sugar in them. Your grains have sugar in them, and it's kind of hard to eliminate everything, including fruits and vegetables. So for me, when I have people do a sugar detox, it's generally within my elimination diet program, and that's something that almost basically everybody does when they start working with me. And the basis of the elimination diet is that you take out the foods that may be causing inflammation. A lot of these we don't quite know are causing us problems because we've lived with it so long. So sugar is one of the things that we eliminate. And when I tell people to eliminate sugar, they really have to get rid of all forms of sugar. So we're talking honey, molasses, maple syrup, all those things, even organic raw sugar. You're going to eliminate that because sugar is highly inflammatory. Even though organic sugar is highly inflammatory. After you're done with the sugar detox or elimination diet, then people will be, I guess I should say allowed, but then they will put that back into their diet. And at that point, I recommend only honey, maple syrup, stevia, and xylitol. Now, when you're on the elimination diet, you're probably going to want to substitute for your sugar or things to put in your baked goods and such. So you would use xylitol and stevia for that. Xylitol can sometimes cause people to have intestinal problems, so you might need to use just a little first and see how you react. I don't have a problem. Most of the people I recommend it to don't have a problem. So that's how you would eliminate the sugar. Now, in terms of fruits and vegetables, obviously I would want you to eat a lot of vegetables. So it would be very, very, very hard to eliminate every type of sugar out there. And a lot of people will actually do the Candida diet. If you look that up and Google it, there's lots of good suggestions about how to keep sugar out and which things have the highest sugar. I'm not one of those really, really strict people about it. So do the best that you can with getting rid of sugar. So hopefully that answered that question. And I guess I'll wait to see if anybody else has some questions, or else this may be the shortest Q&A ever. And maybe I can come up with some topics for you that are things that people usually ask me about. I guess the biggest thing that people ask me about in the health and wellness category is about weight loss. And this is a topic that I've been talking about for quite a long time. I guess I've got a couple videos out about that. And I gotta tell you guys that my husband is actually one of the worst clients ever. And I keep telling him this, you're my worst client ever, because he only half listens to what I'm saying. I think one of the things that we've been ingrained with is that you need to count calories, that you need to eat less and exercise more. And I totally don't believe in that at all. Counting calories, I mean, if you take 2 donuts versus a cup of broccoli, they've got the same amount of calories, but they're going to react very differently in your body. And the donuts aren't going to do you any good. It's going to increase your sugar. It's going to spike, and then you have a crash. And, you know, the broccoli is going to help you with fiber and all sorts of other things and be good. And the crazy thing is that we actually think this way. And I've done it before. I've been out and I didn't have anything good. And, you know, you stop somewhere, grab a candy bar, which is probably the worst thing you can do, flip it over and go, oh, that's not too bad. But actually it is. And it's not going to do you any good at all. The other thing that people think is a big deal with weight loss is they think that it's their willpower. They think that if they can just stay strong, stay away from the treats and whatever, that it's just going to help them melt the fat off. And the problem with willpower is that things like sugar, we've been talking about, it's 8 times more addictive than cocaine. So when you try to say that it's willpower, it gets kind of difficult. The other thing is that most people with a weight problem have a leptin resistance problem. Now, leptin is the hormone that is released from your fat that tells you that you're full and not hungry anymore, and that it also tells your body to go ahead and burn fat for energy. So when the leptin is unable to talk to the rest of the body, it's like it's half deaf. Your body's half deaf and it doesn't know what to do with that. And it doesn't hear the signals. So if the signals are blocked, your body's never going to know that you're full, and it's never going to know to burn the fat. And there's no way to touch those issues with willpower. So you see how that isn't, it's not the thing that's keeping you from losing weight. Usually there's biological issues for your weight stuff. And the problem is a little circular because fat also blocks fat. So it gets circular because it can't talk to the rest of your body to tell it what to do. And when you're stressed out on top of it, which we generally all are stressed at some level, when you release cortisol, which is that fight or flight hormone, that also blocks that leptin from communicating. So for the most part, I think a lot of people's problems with weight loss stem from the leptin resistance and the inability of your body to talk to itself and tell it what to do. So we need to really reduce that. And some of the problem with that is that toxins contribute to that as well. So when your body is full of toxins, your fat stores the toxins. Now, where do the toxins come from? It comes from the air, it comes from your food, it comes from your environment. It really comes from everywhere. Air fresheners are one of my pet peeves, whether it's in the car or it's in your house, or even perfume. I honestly don't understand perfume and cologne. I understand deodorant, but this whole perfume and cologne thing really gets me. When I walk by somebody, I don't expect to smell something. When I sit in church, I don't want to smell you 2 rows away. And if that's how much cologne and perfume you need, I kind of think it would be better to get a bath instead, because those perfumes are actually very toxic. Not only are they soaking in, but you're also smelling them. So those toxins are going to store in your fat. And the only way your fat is going to shrink is if you get rid of the toxins. And this leads me to something that is very near and dear to my heart, which is a detox. And I get called the detox queen, which I actually like. Because I really believe that everything has to do with detox. And some people's bodies detox better than others. For me, this was a big deal in my Lyme disease and not being able to get better, because I also had a gene mutation that kept me from detoxing very well, and it's called MTHFR. And yes, when you write it out, it looks like something, and yes, it is nicknamed that exact thing, and it is kind of a pain of a gene to have, so I guess it's kind of appropriate. Anyways, this MTHFR gene makes it hard for you to detox. Your energy metabolism is messed up, and then you end up with a whole bunch of stuck toxins inside you, which creates a house, I guess. A hotel for bugs is what I call it. But it creates a body condition where you are more apt to get sick, more apt to come down with something, and more apt to have chronic conditions. So if your body isn't able to detox the way that it should, and you keep putting more toxins inside it, then if you think about it, it's like, a cup with a hole at the bottom, or maybe even your tub. When you fill it faster than it can drain, it still fills, and eventually it can overflow, even though it's still draining some, because obviously you detox every day just on your own, because if you didn't, you would die. So we've got some sort of level of detox going on every day. But when our body isn't able to detox properly, things get backed up. And when things get backed up, we start having all sorts of problems. We'll have brain fog, we'll have joint issues, likely have gut problems as well, leaky gut. So then the toxins now, it gets to your guts and it leaks back into the body, and then your body creates antibodies to it and tries to attack it, and it's just this crazy vicious cycle. So detox to me is one of the most important things that you can do for your health. And again, some people need a little bit more help with that than others. So, trying to see who else has joined. Had a couple people join and then a couple people left. Again, this may be one of the shortest things ever on Blab. But anyways, maybe what I'll do at the end of this, since there doesn't seem to be anybody else joining and no more questions, I want to tell you a little bit about me and my journey and why I want to help people. Well, as you know, from what I've said, I lived with chronic Lyme disease for many years. I was diagnosed in 2010. And during that time, I was very sick and became basically bedbound. I did hide it from as many people as I could. I went out when I had to. I took my kids to everything they needed to get taken to. I carpooled as much as I could. But in the meantime, I covered. And I covered my brain fog, I covered my pain, I covered my memory loss, I covered becoming slightly dyslexic. I couldn't remember where I parked in the grocery store parking lot. I would get lost sometimes coming back home. I slept probably 16 to 18 hours per day, and I felt like I had no life. And during that time, I really thought, when I started to feel better, that Lyme disease had taught me to be a strong person and all this stuff. But really, when I look back on it now, I realize that what it taught me was that we all need to take care of ourselves. We all need to, as I say, take your turn. And I say that because all those days that I sat crying on the bathroom floor, I would think about all the things that I had given up for other people. Whether it was something simple or something bigger, like what house my husband and I bought, or what vacation place we went to, or where we'd eat for lunch with a friend, or, okay, that's not really a big deal, and I probably didn't think about that one, but I'm trying to think of small things as well as big things. And what I realized was that I always said yes to people, and I always volunteered for things, and I always sacrificed what I wanted to do for the other person's sake. And I did that because I thought that people would like me more, and I thought that my husband would love me more, and I thought that I would be accepted more, and I thought that my friends would enjoy me more, or whatever it was. And what I've learned is that all that squelching of who I really was really didn't do me any good. And I didn't live the life that I really could have. I didn't live the life that I wanted, because I was always giving up my time, giving up my choices, and I basically gave my life away. And for those years that I was sick, it ended up making me feel really bitter and angry. And I was upset with people, family and friends, that didn't come around to see how I was doing, even though I had sacrificed all those things for them at that point. Or, when my husband didn't even ask me how I was, I would get upset. And looking back, it was very tiring, not only for me, but also for him, with my being sick. So the bottom line of what I actually learned through that is that you should live life with no regrets. You know, I think it's easy when people say, well, if you die tomorrow, what things were really important to you? But it's another thing to be faced with it and think that your life is over, because that's what I thought. I thought at age 40, my life was over. I was lucky to have done what I did, and I should be thankful for that. And instead, I thought about all the things and places I had wanted to see, and I regretted that I didn't take my turn and use that chance that I had, because you never know when it's going to be gone. So now what I want to do is to empower and encourage people to do what they want with their lives, define themselves, and not let others define you. Don't sacrifice everything. Obviously, you know, when we're moms, we have to sacrifice. I mean, that's kind of a given, right? But I'm talking about, don't sacrifice to the point of burnout. Don't sacrifice until you think you're going to crash one day. Because I would put off things and say, oh, well, you know, I'll get to it after this, or after that, or after, and it kept being after, and that day just, you and I know that day is never going to come. So you need to take today and do what you wanted to do with your life. I want to tell you today, I talked to my mom. She's 70. Oh my gosh, how old is she? She's 26 years older than me. So she's 70-ish. And she was telling me that she wanted to do something with her life, that she'd never done anything for herself. And while the idea of what she wanted to do wasn't exactly what I thought was the most fantastic thing to do and invest in and spend her time doing, I could also see that it brought her great joy and she had a passion for it. And initially I started telling her, hey, you know what? I don't think this is a good idea. You're not going to make a business. You're not going to make money from this. You're not, you know, because she is saying she never did anything for herself. She wanted to create some sort of business and income for herself, just herself, because she's never had her own money. She really has, but this is what she's saying to me today. And after a while, I realized that I was doing exactly what everybody else had done to me. They had discouraged me, told me I was a dreamer, said I shouldn't do things, said that things wouldn't happen that way, that I was too much of an optimist about things, and I had to look at the downside and take in the risk and not be so risky about things, be more risk averse. And, you know, it was my mom who told me all my life that if there was something that I wanted to do, that all I had to do was be open to learning, and I could do it. And so today, when I was telling my mom, hey, here's all the downsides, you got to think about this, 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 and this, and think about your age, and think about, you know, how many years you have and what you want to enjoy and all this stuff. And then I took a step back and I realized this is what she wants to do. This is what she wants to enjoy. This is how she wants to spend her time. And in the end, I said, you know what, Mom? If this is what makes you happy and this is what you want to do, that's fine, go for it. Do it. If you spend your life savings doing it to make yourself happy, then do it. The funny thing was, she said, you know, if I live long enough, there won't be any money left for you because I'm going to do this, and who knows what's going to happen. And I told her I didn't care. And I had told her many times in the past years, I don't care. I don't care if there's anything left. Go enjoy your life, because that's what you should do. So anyways, big long story to go through that, you know, I want everybody to be empowered to live the life of their dreams. And if that means that you're going to open a business and be an entrepreneur, great, and I can help you with that. If that means that you need to get healthy and lose weight, great, I can help you with that. And if that means that you have some more chronic things going on, like chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia or brain fog. That's funny, I couldn't think of that one. Or whatever else, you know, sleep issues, stress problems, all those things. If those things are holding you back from living the life that you've dreamt about and having an abundant, full, overflowing life that you wake up happy to be in, then I can help you with that. And I want everybody to know that, you know, just don't let anybody else define you. Don't let other people tell you how you should act, what you should think, how successful you can be, because it's not up to them. Those things are up to you. All right, I think I've been on my soapbox enough today. It is a short session, I guess. We didn't have a whole lot of questions this first time. Hopefully more people will join in as these continue on. All right, well, I guess that's it, and I'll talk to you later. I want you to go out and have more life, more freedom, and more you. I'll talk to you later.